My name is Sarah Ann Hartley, and I did my presentation on Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was born on November 2nd, 1964, in Burlington, Vermont. He was raised by his grandparents and thought his mother was his sister. He was an attractive, smart guy who had a future in politics. He also suffered from acute shyness, which resulted in appearing socially awkward, and he rarely dated and kept to himself most of the time. But in 1967, he met the woman of his dreams. By 1968, she ended the relationship and broke Bundy's heart. As a child, at the age of 4, Ted and his mother moved to Washington to live with relatives. Over the years, the Bundy family added 4 other siblings whom Ted spent most of the time babysitting after school. As a kid, he was terribly shy, self-doubting, and uncomfortable in social situations. He was often teased and picked on by the bullies in junior high. Even though he sometimes suffered from being different, he maintained a high GPA that continued throughout high school and college. Ted Bundy had a selective process when it came to choosing his victims. They were young, attractive girls between the ages of 15 through 25 and came from working class backgrounds. As you can see, all these girls are young, dark-haired women that he attacked. Some statistics that Ted Bundy has is that he killed in several states, which include Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and Utah. His span of killing started in 1973 and 4 and ended in 1978. He killed 26 to 35 plus women. He also went by the name of Chris Hagen, Richard Burton, Officer Rosalind, and Rolf Miller. He was on death row for 9.5 years after he was caught and was executed by the electric chair. He murdered at this sorority house in Florida State, and on January 14th, 1978, Bundy broke into Florida State University Chi Omega sorority house and bludgeoned and strangled 2 women, raping one of them and brutally biting her. 2 others got beat over the head with a log as well. They survived because a fellow roommate, Nita Neary, came home after interrupting Bundy before he was able to kill the other 2 victims. These are some pictures. Top left corner is of Ted Bundy getting in the electric chair. The top right is Ted Bundy's mugshot. Bottom right is the Chi Omega house in Florida State, and the other one is a sign saying "See Ted Die," because everybody wanted him dead at the time. He had a couple of killing methods, but one really. A method of murder was strangulation and blunt trauma, because it was very easy, silent, and didn't leave too much behind in forensics. He first started breaking into victims' premises late at night and carried out his violent acts while they were sleeping. And finally, as his confidence grew, so did his killing style. He would lure an unsuspecting woman by pretending to be an officer or feigning injury, and when the victim was close enough, he would attack and kidnap them, usually driving over state lines before murdering them and leaving their naked bodies on display for people to find. He used a couple of materials. Some were a crowbar, a ski mask, a wire, some ice picks, rope, and handcuffs. Capturing Ted Bundy was not really that easy. He was first arrested on suspicion of burglary with the items of a ski mask, crowbar, handcuff, ice pick, and pantyhose, and was later charged with kidnapping and murder of Campbell when the officers searched his car and saw that the front passenger seat was not in the car at the time. He escaped out of jail, he escaped by jumping out of the law library window from getting extradited from Utah prison to Colorado, and then finally was caught a week later. He finally went on trial June 25th, 1979 for the murders of the sorority women. And prior to being put to death, Bundy gave details of more than 50 women he had murdered. And then he was executed on January 24th, 1989. And these are my references I used to create my PowerPoint.